2021 marks the 20th anniversary of the founding of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Operating under the principle of mutual understanding, SEO members have strengthened cooperation in fighting terrorism, promoting cultural communication and expanding economic collaboration. Meanwhile, China and Pakistan are celebrating the 70th anniversary of diplomatic ties, describing the relationship as an all-weather strategic cooperative partnership. After Pakistan joined the SCO in 2017, the two countries reinforced cooperation in the fields of agriculture, technology and trade. Pakistani President Arif Alvi said recently that the traditional friendship not only thrives in mutual support and cooperation between the two sides, but also in people-to-people bonds. So what factors have deepened cooperation between the two countries? How is the SCO boosting bilateral and regional trade? And what obstacles and opportunities do SCO members still face? Welcome to this special edition of The Point with me, Liu Xin. I'm pleased to be joined by His Excellency Mr. Moin Al-Haq, the Ambassador of Pakistan to China. Ambassador Al-Haq, welcome to The Point. Now, this year marks the 20th anniversary of the founding of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Looking back, how do you evaluate the achievement of this organization over the past 2 decades?
Thank you so much, Liu Xin. Always pleasure to be on your program at CGTN. SEO, of course, Pakistan is a member of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. In fact, 2 days back, we have a great function at the State Guest House to mark this 20th anniversary. SEO is now the largest regional organization in terms of its regional reach and population. And with 1/3 GDP, representing 1/3 GDP of the world, it has become a very important voice, especially for supporting multilateralism and regional connectivity and integration. An organization which was established to ensure stability and security of the member states, especially in the large Eurasian continent, has now transformed into an organization which is promoting now economic cooperation and cultural exchanges. So it is now represent half of the world population, and that's why its importance and reach is extremely important.
What makes the SCO unique among other regional or international organizations?
Shanghai Spirit represents the mutual cooperation and mutual trust and mutual understanding between the member states. We have diverse membership representing different cultures, different historical backgrounds, and different political structures also. But the main ethos of the organization at how to work together to address our common challenges and threats that confront not only the member states but to the humanity at large. So that's why Shanghai Spirit represent that very strong bonds of cooperation and linkages between our organization and member states.
What specific challenges do you think the SCO has overcome or is fighting or is working on at this moment that is particularly worth mentioning?
One of the major themes of our earlier cooperation was the cooperation in anti-terrorism. An organization was set up in Tashkent. It's called RATS, the Regional Association Against Center Against Terrorism. And the second, I think, recent example is our cooperation during pandemic. It has become a very strong call by all the leadership of the members of SCO that we need to cooperate together. We have to have international solidarity. We need to cooperate in vaccines cooperation, which has to be public good, which has to be made accessible to all our people, especially in the developing world. So these are two very important, of course there are many where we are working together, but these are very recent ones.
What has SCO membership meant for Pakistan?
When this Shanghai Cooperation was set up in 2001, we were not part of that. And we always wanted to be, we were invited as observers, we were very actively promoting cooperation. So being part of the broader region, Pakistan's inclusion was always sought by our leadership. To be part of an organization where we have a friend like China, where we have an important country like Russia and Central Asia, which is next door, and which we have close cultural links, trade links. So I think our inclusion has helped us not only to promote this regional connectivity and integration, but also cultural exchanges.
A lot of students from Pakistan are studying in China. For instance, I noticed that there is a SEO agricultural technology exchange and training demonstration base in Yangling, Shanxi province in northwest China, where many Pakistani students are learning about agricultural techniques and acquiring relevant knowledge in this field. How significant is agricultural collaboration between the two sides?
Yeah, first of all, you mentioned about these students, Pakistani students. We have a very strong collaboration with China in the education sector. China is the largest destination for Pakistani students. We have close to 30,000 students in China studying in different universities and different disciplines, and agriculture is one of them. Agriculture cooperation between China and Pakistan is now becoming a very priority sector, especially under CPEC also. We have a joint working group under CPEC which was established last year during our president visits, and now we are closely cooperating to modernize agriculture sector of Pakistan, working in this development of new seeds, irrigation, improving the yield of our crops. For both countries, it's a very important sector for our food safety of the two countries.
What are some of the more touching stories that you can share with us about people-to-people exchanges? You just mentioned Pakistani students like to come to China. They treat China as the #1 destination for overseas studies.
Yes. Talking about people-to-people exchanges and cultural exchanges, our linkages with China goes back into history. These civilization contacts have been going on through millennia, especially the contacts between Chinese civilization and Indus and Gandhara civilization, which is now part of Pakistan. People from China like Buddhist monk Fashian used to go to Pakistan, and Pakistani scholars and people have always been fascinated by the Confucius thoughts, Chinese traditions, custom, and Confucius thought. So that, I think, had helped us, especially after our independence, to establish a very strong cultural exchange program, which goes even to today. And that's helping into people-to-people exchanges like students. Recently, during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially in Wuhan, the Pakistani students played a very positive role in helping the international community who were there, international students, and also the Chinese who were there, volunteer to distribute food to them, to work with the faculty of the universities to do that. And I think that's something very touching. They were making videos in support of the people of China, and people of China, they were writing articles in the newspaper also. And for me also personally, whenever I go to any city and I tell them that I am from Pakistan, they say Batiye. So Batiye is an expression which is only for Pakistan. Every Chinese person knows that, and that's because of this very strong cultural linkages and people-to-people contact.
In terms of Pakistan's trade with China, what is the current situation? Where do you see the potential going forward, for instance, for Pakistan to export more products to China? What's been done on your part on that front?
Thank you so much for asking. I think it's an area where I feel a great deal of satisfaction, because in the recent months, I would say, in the recent times, our trade with China is growing exponentially, especially Pakistan exports to China, because China is our largest trading partner, but we have a large trade deficit with China. So our exports used to be around $1.8 billion to $2 billion, and Chinese exports are to Pakistan are $16 billion. So quite a big gap.
Yeah.
So for us, it's very important to bring some balance. So in the recent months, despite COVID, there has been now a momentum and increase of more than 80% increase in our exports. So this is a very growing trend.
What accounts for that?
First of all, the free trade agreement that we launched last year with China, which has expanded our two markets. There are now close to 1,000 products, tariff lines, which enjoy zero duty into each other markets. So that's a very growing trend. And secondly, e-commerce. I think e-commerce is doing a wonder, and it's a next, I would say, a trend to promote bilateral trade.
At this moment, is it possible for me to go on, let's say, Taobao and get my hands on Pakistani products?
Yes, you can do. You can buy Pakistani
products. How long
products.
does the shipping take?
I think
How much trouble is that?
People have inventories in China of Pakistani products,
I see.
so you can get very, very quickly at your doorstep.
What would you recommend?
Now, of course, there are so many handicrafts, leather products. Now Pakistani mangoes are coming.
As well.
Yeah, as well, and you can buy them on Taobao.
Okay, I'll definitely give it a try. What about the other way around, for Pakistani people to order Chinese goods,
Same
of
thing,
course,
yeah.
on top of what they were
Yeah, same
importing?
thing. Chinese products are so popular in Pakistan and available in all Pakistani markets. And we also have now growing e-commerce platforms, which is also in part.
Bilateral or multilateral?
It's bilateral, or also basically China-Pakistan. It's established by Alibaba in partnership with Alibaba, a local company, and it's now growing also in size. And it's, of course, Chinese products are everywhere in Pakistan.
Well, we definitely look forward to, because I personally haven't tasted many Pakistani goods or, tried many Pakistani goods. I definitely would like to see more. But looking ahead, where do you think this SEO platform or framework is going in the future, and what kind of role do you think it's going to play in terms of uniting countries in this part of the world, and also maybe providing a kind of sample or example of how countries of different religious background or ideology can really work together on equal footing?
Yeah, in these difficult times, when there is a pressure on multilateral system, SEO is a beacon of hope. It has grown in prestige, influence, and reach. More and more countries now wants to join SEO. We have many pending applications from many countries around the world who want to become dialogue partners or observers. Many observers want to become now full member. So that means that this association is proving to be a strong voice in the region and the international forum. I think going forward, we need to continue raising our voice for this multilateralism, international solidarity, cooperation, and especially to address and tackle the many challenges, mostly non-traditional security challenges like pandemic, new infectious diseases, poverty. We cannot do it alone. We have to be together. SEO can play that part.
So on the occasion of the 20th anniversary of the SEO, if I asked you to say one sentence about this organization for its future, or for other people who are interested to find out more about this organization, what would it be?
One sentence. Wow. Yeah, I think I would say that SEO has been a very strong voice, as I mentioned earlier, for the international community to promote multilateralism, to promote international solidarity and cooperation.
We have to talk a little bit more about the potential challenges to bilateral ties, also in the framework of the SEO. The CPEC, just now you mentioned there are progress. However, it has also not been an easy ride for security reasons. Help us understand the progress so far of China's cooperation with Pakistan under the CPEC framework, and what kind of challenges are you looking at this moment?
CPEC is a very important flagship project of Belt and Road Initiative. It has been a transformational project for Pakistan. As I've mentioned on an earlier occasion also, that in the first phase it helped Pakistan improve its infrastructure, address our acute energy shortages, and now in the second phase we are focusing on the sectors like industrialization, establishing special economic zones, agriculture sector we spoke about, science and technology, those areas which are people-centric, which are helping improving the livelihoods of the people. So it is extremely important project for our two countries. So there are, I not say there are challenges. The challenge is that how we move forward and make it even more robust and productive. But there are many opportunities, I would say, which we both countries are identifying, especially in the industrialization sector, and to see how we can cooperate in relocating some of the industries from China to Pakistan and help in the overall economic development and prosperity of Pakistan and the region at large.
What concrete benefits has projects under the Belt and Road Initiative brought to people of Pakistan?
As I mentioned, one of the most important things was the energy sector. Pakistan had gone through a very difficult phase when we had shortages of electricity. So that not only affected the common man, but also crippled our industry also. So this has been, as I mentioned, has transformed that. Today, Pakistan is self-sufficient, and even we are going to have surplus energy. So what does it mean? That means that we now have more energy for our industries, for our homes, to run our trains and everything. So it has been a very important part. Secondly, I think the most important thing is that it has improved the livelihoods of our people, provided jobs to them, security, economic security, empowerment. So I think it has, as I mentioned, it has been a transformational project, and we are really in Pakistan very thankful to China, and we are really proud of this cooperation.
More investment being put into the projects under the Belt and Road?
Yes, there's too much big ticketed projects are in the pipeline. One of them is the upgradation of Pakistan's railroad, ML1, which is main line 1. It is now almost being finalized, and it is also going to speed up or upgrade the speed of our train and help in the transportation and communication network.
In terms of security, has that prospect changed so that these projects will be able to finish construction and enter into operation in a smooth manner?
Security and safety of the CPEC projects and the Chinese workers working there is a top priority in our country. Of course, Pakistan, had gone through a difficult time, but today Pakistan, thanks to the efforts of our security forces and the people of Pakistan who paid so many high price for this peace, we have restored peace and stability in our country. Especially for CPEC projects, I think it's unprecedented. We have raised 2 divisions, army divisions, which means around 30,000 army personnel are protecting the projects and the workers. Of course, it's our duty, they are our guests, they are our heroes, so it's our responsibility. And besides these 2 divisions, there are thousands of police personnel and other law enforcement agencies who are protecting these projects. So they are very secure.
This year marks the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Communist Party of China. You have been here for almost a year. What have you learned about this party up and close that you think needs to be understood and known more by people outside of China?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations on the 100 years of the of the formation of CPC, a very important milestone for the people of China. CPC's role in the formation of New China from the early years and the fight against foreign aggression and foreign occupiers and the sacrifices that have been made by the people, by the members of CPC and its leadership, it has been, I think, played a very important role in the future years of China. I recently visited Hunan, wanted to go there for two reasons, because it was 100 years of CPC and the 70 years of China-Pakistan diplomatic ties. Wanted to go and pay my homage to Chairman Mao's hometown, Shaoxing. So I went there, I laid a wreath there, visited the museum, and also saw his small house, a very humble village house. And there I realized the real ethos and the philosophy of its CPC's success and its important role. Chairman Mao started his life from a very humble background. He was from the grassroots. He could relate to the people's sufferings. He could relate to their problems. So that's why when he became chairman and the leader, all the governance model were people-centric. So that's, I think, the role played by CPC, its leadership, and future economic development of China, poverty alleviation, and recently during the COVID-19 pandemic is very impressive. And I think people need to study this model, people need to learn about it and be appreciative of it.
What do you think will be the meaning of the CPC's role in terms of people-centric projects such as poverty alleviation mean to other countries and to the world?
Our Prime Minister has always been a great fan of China's success, China's campaign against poverty alleviation. And as I mentioned, I think CPC has a great role to play in that. I've been reading many reports, visiting many places. I was in Ningde, which is a very famous place from where President Xi also started his career. Ningde story of poverty alleviation is a very fascinating story. There you can see that it was CPC membership which were sent to different cities, especially to work with the people at grassroots level, at village level, to train them to how to cultivate their agriculture, how to brand it, how to package it. Students from universities, officials, they have been going all around China to help poor people. I mean, it's remarkable. And it's the CPC which has mobilized this entire nation and government machinery to help people come out of absolute poverty.
Is that what you see as the strengths of China's governing system, the ability of the CPC to organize the people, to organize different, various branches of the society, of the governments, of course, and of the society, to tackle a certain goal together?
Every country has its own governmental structure, governance structure, or development path. Some countries have democracies, some countries have a socialist system, some countries are monarchies. So every country has its own experience and culture and history. China, of course, with this history of CPC's role, its ethos of people-centric approach, a very strong hierarchy and very organized structure. I think it has done wonders for China's rise, China's success, China's economic development, and that's why I think people in China support CPC also and had a great grassroots level support every part of China.
How has the CPC been instrumental or been active in cementing bilateral ties between China and Pakistan? Just now you mentioned, very briefly, expand a little bit, please.
Yes, of course. When we established diplomatic ties 70 years ago, and Pakistan was one of the first countries to recognize China, and from that onwards it was the leadership of the two countries that nurtured this relationship. Chairman Mao, Premier Chun Lai were, I think, the first architects of this relationship. They have always believed in this relationship. And Premier Chun Lai was a household name. Chairman Mao and Premier Chun Lai were household names in Pakistan. Still today they are remembered and admired. And of course that tradition has continued with successive leadership of CPC today and President Xi. Of course, it was during his time and his visit to Pakistan that this relationship was elevated to all-weather strategic partnership. And he is a strong proponent of more strengthening bilateral ties between our two countries.
As a result, on May the 21st this year, China and Pakistan celebrated 70 years of friendship, let's say, and the two countries call the relationship an all-weather strategic cooperative partnership, or an iron brotherhood in some other words. What do you think are the essence of such strong ties, and in which direction do you think ties are going finally?
Yeah, of course, this relationship has gone through many transformations in 70 years, but every stage, every decade, we have gone from one step upwards. We have strengthening our relationship from mere political relationship to now very robust economic partnership, very strong cultural and people-to-people cooperation between our two countries. It is based on mutual respect, as I mentioned earlier, mutual cooperation, mutual trust, mutual understanding. It has so many strengths between our two countries that we not only cooperate bilaterally, but at regional level also at international. We have common views how the countries should conduct their international relations, how we should cooperate to tackle our global challenges also. CPAC, next stage, importantly educational ties, people-to-people exchanges. I think these are very important. Most of the celebrations that we are doing as part of 70 years, most of the content is on people-to-people exchanges.
Finally, for your term as ambassador here, do you have a quantitative goal for bilateral ties?
This is such an important relationship, to be honest, and has such a wide scope of area of cooperation that every day is a new day. Every day is a challenging day. So that's the, I think, beauty of our cooperation. Of course, our goal is to make this cooperation, this relationship, even stronger what we are today. But I can see that next 70 years and beyond, it will be one of the best relationships in the world, an exemplary relationship.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I was talking to Moin Ul-Haq, Ambassador of Pakistan to China. With that, we come to the end of this special edition of The Point with me, Liu Xin. As always, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter using the handle Liu Xin in Beijing. Thanks for watching. You've got The Point.